Hey there, bookworms. Thanks for stopping by on another monthly video of mine. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Johnny, and I'm a horror and sci-fi author and book enthusiast. So welcome. These videos are something to help me feel better about speaking in public, and building up my confidence, as well as giving little updates on personal tidbits, my writing, and some reads that I've done for the month. That's me in a nutshell. So let's not waste any time. I want to keep these videos really condensed and short and sweet going forward, just so that I'm not giving you guys too much details. So let's jump right into things, right? All right. So first things first, personal tidbits. So this month was kind of crazy. Like it's always crazy. Um, so first things first, I had a birthday. Yay! I'm getting older. Boo. No, in all honesty, it was a lot more fun than my last birthday from last year because it was like hardcore into COVID times and nobody was getting out or anything. But luckily, I got my second COVID shot in early May, which gave me enough time to recover from that or for my body to adjust or whatever they tell you, so that I could be around people and spend times with family and friends and just have a really good time and not really have to worry about anything. So I'm enjoying that. Um, I enjoyed that. And I'm enjoying Kansas City's kind of lowering their restrictions. So it's nice to get out, breathe some fresh air, and yeah, and just do that. Other than that, not too many other developments. Uh, Grad school is coming up for me. I'm going to be going for library science because I want to be a librarian. And yeah, that's creeping up really soon, like scary soon. And I'm just not ready quite yet. So I also submitted an application to volunteer at my local library. I'm hoping that that will help give me a little bit more insight into like the actual working environment of a library, not just being there as a patron. So um, here's hoping. I only submitted a couple days ago, but yeah, here crossing my fingers that that they accept my application and that I can learn a little more as I also go to school um, for library science. So yeah, those are my personal tidbits. Right into writing. Um, every month, every month this year has been really insane. There's kind of been like a juggling act kind of going on. And as fun as that is, it drives me nuts. So I'm happy to say that this month I really just focused on one project and I got a lot of progress done. Um, so this month I really just focused on my current writing project, which is an LGBT horror novel called The Ruins. And I think this is probably the best progress month I've had this year. I really think that because I wrote the entirety of the first act. I do a three-act system with my stories, with my novels. And so I wrote the first draft of the first act, so basically a third of the novel, um, in a little bit over 2 weeks. It ended up being around 15,000 words, which is just around what I wanted it to be because it's going to be something of a shorter novel, not a very, very long one. Um, and I think largely the reason why it all worked so well was because I do that this thing I call half writing, where I really, or when I'm plotting out what happens with the book, I go in a little bit excessive detail than you normally would plotting things out. But I wanted to make sure I had an easy way to get those words in. Um, and so, I mean, it works for me. I still made some changes along the way, of course, but overall, it helped speed me along because I had so much information or an example of what I wanted to draw from. So I'm repeating the process on Act 2 of the story. And so far it's going pretty well. There's a lot more research involved at this stage that I really didn't think of until now. And I'm kind of like, maybe I should have, yeah, maybe I should have thought of that, right? It's okay though. It just means it's going to be a little bit slow going for right now. But I'm about 3 chapters in. Uh, I think there's 8 chapters total. Don't quote me on it. It could easily change anytime. Um, but no, I am excited about how things are progressing, and I'm really hoping to uh, keep the momentum going because I don't have long before grad school starts, and it's going to be way more difficult to keep up with things uh, with this momentum that I've got going right now when I add in school. So yeah. Um, Last time I did mention a um, a short story that was kind of like a witchy horror story called Resurgence. And at this point, I'm kind of shelving it for now because I am focusing solely on the ruins. Um, but if I do get writer's block or something like that, I can easily switch to that little side project. Um, and I honestly don't think it will take too much time for me to actually come up with a good first draft for that one either. Um, Seeing how fast I got a first act done with the ruins for a short story, it would take even less time. So yeah, hopeful for that too. So stay tuned for all the other good writing bits, and let's move on to reading. So this month was really good for reading. I made some recent changes. Um, I wanted to focus more on horror reads because, um, that's what I'm writing, and I also think that I could learn some from other authors through my reads if it's in my own genre. And yeah, so this month I primarily focused on that. Um, and I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I read 6 books and 3 short stories. And I think overall, I think I had 4 or 5 uh, 4.5 star ratings out of 5, which is crazy. Um, so I think I kind of made the right decision doing that. And yeah, I'm gonna keep going with that system for now until I either get burnt out on horror, which I don't see happening anytime soon, or something, or an act of God. Uh, so a little update on this little section of things going forward. I'm not gonna list out like every single book that or short story that I've read. I just don't think anyone's gonna have the video up and be like typing like, oh, what was that name again? So instead, in the description, there will be a link to the text version of this video on my blog on my website. So you can just go there and get your fill, and you can get my review, all the links and everything that you would need to really check stuff out. So yeah. So since I had so many like 4.5 star ratings, uh, I'm not gonna go over all 4 books in this little video. So I'll just go with the most recent one, um, which was Within the Woods by Tony Urban. Pretty easy name. You could probably search that really easily. But anyways, I it was my first time reading anything by that author, and I actually found him via just like searching through Amazon. I was actually looking at my competition, but a lot of competition. I mean, I also want to read their work too. So luckily, I bugged my library on not just uh, Tony Urban's book, but a bunch of other ones that were on my list that they didn't have. And they graciously accepted and bought a copy, and I was the first one to rent it out, so I felt so special. And yeah, so I loved it. It's a YA horror novel about some kids in the 80s, and um, the people in their town start turning into like these weird monsters. And so I just loved every minute of it. For starters, the 80s, I wasn't beaten over the head with it like I was with a certain recent read. I'm not gonna bash that book, but yeah. The nostalgia was very balanced. The characters were great. They had some depth. They really reminded me of me and my friends. I did not grow up in the 80s. I was a 90s kid, but we still had all these like crazy adventures and would always get into a lot of trouble. And so some of their fun adventures in the beginning really reminded me of, the crazy antics we would get into. And yeah, I really loved it. And the horror was actually horror. Like, I mean, think if you were a preteen and you saw these horrific things that just like defied everything you knew. So it was very well done, very well done, and I highly recommend checking that out. As far as a least favorite for this month, I actually don't have one because everything that I read I believe, was at least a four. So I'm not gonna bash anything. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like, so yeah, so that's a wrap for everything. I'm looking forward again to getting a lot more work done on my current project, The Ruins. I'm looking forward to more great reads coming up, as well as some new author interviews that I've requested. But well, until next time, we'll have to see what happens. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by again, and I'll see you guys again the end of June. All right. Bye.